What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take a little bit of a look at a lovely new blue Digimon deck. Now, I showed you a blue Digimon deck a little while ago now. The thing is, the blue Digimon deck I showed you was very much it's kind of a swarming Digimon deck. The deal with that particular Digimon deck was, let's not bother evolving very much, and let's use some smaller Digimon and roll from there. Well, I want to show you a more traditional blue Digimon deck today. I want to show you a deck that revolves far more around evolution and getting rolling, and check this out, right? It actually plays level 6s. The blue deck I showed you before didn't play level 6s. The red deck of a couple of blues in didn't play level 6s. But this one, ladies and gentlemen, this one actually does. Yay! So if you're looking for less of a swarming and more of a traditional evolution blue deck, come on in, the water's fine. Now, in terms of your Digitamer here, essentially what we're doing here is what we usually do in blue decks. We're playing Uppermon. Uppermon has got that ridiculous skill whereby when you attack once during your turn and your opponent has any Digimon with no evolutions in play, you get to draw a card. It's draw power. It's absolutely draw power. And this is one of the things that blue decks do very, very well. It is Uppermon that we are seeing overwhelmingly coming into these blue decks as the Digitamer of choice, because drawing cards is too gosh darn good. And if we immediately move on to have a look at the level 3s, you probably shouldn't be terribly surprised to hear we are playing a full 4 copies of the Gabumon from New Evolution. And the reason we're playing the Gabumon from New Evolution is extremely simple. It lets you draw a card when you play it. Now, this is one of those, you're probably not going to be evolving into this. You're going to be playing this normally. Now, bearing in mind, it's kind of turn 1, you hatch a Digitamer and evolve. Turn 2, you bring it out the raising area. Turn 3, you hatch and evolve. Turn 4, you bring it out, etc. You're only really actually getting one Digitamer out and evolved every 2 turns. So there's going to be a bunch of level 3s that you have to play normally without evolving. Might I humbly suggest that this is one of the ones that you go ahead and play normally. You draw a card when you play it, it's a free cost, and it's a 4 of in like every blue deck at the moment. Until somebody proves otherwise, it just is. Now, the other level 3 I find super interesting here is one that I've talked a lot about, is Monmon. Now, Monmon is a 4-cost level 3, which is expensive, and it's got 1000 power, which is expensive, but it's got blocker. It is the only level 3 blocker we have seen outside of, using other cards to give it blocker. It is the only level 3 blocker we've actually seen so far. So go for it. Okay, it's only got 1000 power, but who cares? Who cares if it only has 1000 power? Because at the end of the day, it's a blocker. You are redirecting one of your opponent's attacks towards it. It's probably going down anyway, but you don't care. Monmon is in the deck to serve one purpose. It's a shield. Use it as a shield. Not the only blocker we've got in this deck, incidentally. We'll get there in a minute. Now, we've talked about Gabumon, but now it's time to, really go away from Gabumon and start talking about Gabumon. Because we're also here playing the Gabumon that came around in the starter decks a little while back now. Now, this has got an inheritable skill whereby when you attack, you remove one evolution source from the bottom of one of your opponent's level 5 or less Digimon. Good for hurting them, good for taking away their evolution skills, inheritable skills, but it's also really nice for making sure that Uppermon lets you draw a card. And it's really nice for some of the other cards we're going to look at. Now, remember the ruling. When you've got multiple inheritable skills, you get to apply them in whichever order you like. So essentially, if there is a Digimon with one evolution source, first you apply Gabumon to remove it, then you apply Uppermon to draw a card, and that will be fine. You will get to use it in that order. That's a good thing. Now, also here, we do see that we are playing the Gabumon, which came around in the initial promo pack, the one that was in that first pack of 6 promos. I kind of like the way that these are playable. I like that playable cards are popping up in promo packs, but I am fully aware that as time goes by and these promo cards get rarer, this might be a problem in competitive play. Fingers crossed, eh? Now this one is again a free cost with 1000 power, which is garbage. But when your opponent's Digimon's evolution sources are removed, you get +1 memory. It is limited to once during your turn, admittedly, but now you've got your Uppermon and your Gabumon to draw cards. You've now got this to get yourself a little bit of extra memory, and things are looking pretty gosh darn good. Now, moving into level 4s, I promised you a blocker, and we've got a blocker. We've got Grizzlymon. And if you're playing 4 Grizzlymon and 4 Monmon, that doesn't guarantee that you're always going to have a blocker when you need one, but it certainly does make it a lot more likely that you're going to have a blocker when you need one. And that very, very much is the goal here. The goal here is to make sure that when you need a blocker, you've got a blocker there and that blocker is ready to go. Now, outside of that, one of the level 4s you should be expecting to see in basically every deck, and does come around in basically every blue deck, is the secret rare Veedramon. Now, at this stage, yes, I am fully aware that all of these good deck lists I'm showing you, and I'm only showing you deck lists that I've seen and I like and I think are really good decks, I'm aware that all of them have secret rares and magazine promos. I'm sorry, these are the good decks that I'm seeing being posted around. I know this is a secret rare and I know it's played as a 4 of. Unfortunately, this Veedramon is too gosh darn good. When you attack once during your turn, if you have a Tamer in play, you make it active. So it's a Digimon you literally get to use twice during your turn. And it's got an Inheritable skill that gives an extra 1000 power on both players' turns if you've got a blue Tamer in play. This is rare. You don't usually have skills that give you extra power regardless. Usually it's only on your turn. But hey ho, ladies and gentlemen, you can't win them all. Now, Veedramon is awesome. The other level 4 we see here, and there's only one other, is Garurumon. Now, Garurumon here is a special case. We'll get there in a second. Garurumon's got a skill. Now, this is a skill that activates when you play it normally, not when you evolve into it, but you get to make one of your Digimon active. You play this as is, and you get to make a Digimon active. Now, bearing in mind, I've already shown you Veedramon that makes itself active once during your turn. So Veedramon, essentially, with Garurumon, becomes a thrice during your turn option. You're literally using this one Digimon 3 times in the same turn. That's a very good thing, ladies and gentlemen. That's a very good thing. But like I say, there's a trick with that. We'll get there in a minute. Now, moving on into the level 5s, there's only one level 5 we're actually playing here. It is Loaderleomon. And I tell you what, this Loaderleomon is good. It's a vanilla card, admittedly, but it's a vanilla card because it's extremely powerful. There's no level 5 that really comes in demanding to be played. So what we have here is a free cost to evolve, which is quite cheap for a level 5. And we've got a 7 cost to play normally, which is quite cheap, and 10,000 power. I'm not to be that cheap, but it is very powerful. 10,000 power is the kind of thing we see on level 6s, not on level 5s. So essentially what we're rolling with Loaderleomon here is, oh yeah, no, just play this dude. He's got lots of power. But then when we do go up into a level 6, we go ahead and see ourselves the MetalGaruru that comes around in New Evolution. Now, this is a spectacularly powerful card. 12 cost to play normally is quite expensive. 3 cost is fine. Loaderleomon's not that cheap to evolve. I don't know why I said that. Sorry. 11,000 power is good, but not phenomenal. But when you attack, you take a level 4 or less Digimon from your evolution sources and play it without paying the cost. Oh, look! Garurumon is a level 4 Digimon with a play skill, and yes, you are playing here. So essentially what you do with MetalGaruru here is you attack, and then you deploy Garurumon from underneath it, and then you get to make one of your other Digimon active at the same time, and things are starting to look really, really good here. This is a very, very good thing. That's the combo. There's only 2 level 6s, it's just 2 copies of MetalGaruru here, but given we've seen a lot of decks that don't do the whole evolution thing, I thought it was about time I showed you one that did. Now, I have been talking about Tamers here, and we do actually see 6 Tamers in total. Now, we've got 4 copies of the Tamer that came around in the starter deck. This is the 2-cost Tamer. And it says that at the beginning of your turn, if your opponent has any Digimon without an evolution source, you gain 1 memory. This is kind of in your opponent's control because, you know, they pass or, you know, they attack and whatever they do to make it so that the memory gauge goes over to you. So they can try and make sure all their Digimon are evolved before they do. But still, this is going to work a bit. And then we've got the one from New Evolution, which is played as a 2-of here. Now it is a 4-cost, so it's quite a bit more expensive. But at the start of your turn, if your memory is 2 or less, you put it to 3. And during your turn, if you play a blue Digimon, you may rest it and discard an evolution source from the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon, helping out with Uppermon's skill and helping out with the other blue Tamer, and of course just getting rid of your opponent's evolution sources so that they don't have those skills to use in the future. Sounds like fun, ladies and gentlemen. Sounds like fun. Now, in terms of option cards here, we've actually got a few. We've got a full 4 copies, and we don't say this very often, of Hammer Spark, a 0-cost card that gives you an extra memory. Now, this is great for memory, but the problem is you're basically swapping a card for a memory. You risk running out of cards, and that's a bad thing, but I've already shown you this deck has some draw power, so we're good. As a security card, it gives you 2 memory, which is even better. We see 4 copies of another card from the starter deck, Cocytus Breath. Now, this is a very expensive 7-cost card. You return one of your opponent's Digimon to their hand, discarding all evolution sources from it, i.e. they can still play the highest version of the card, but they've got to pay the full price for it. Oh, yeah. Also, if it comes out as a security card, you do it for free. This is one I'd be hoping comes out as a security card. And then we've got ourselves a full 4 copies of Emerald Blaze, a 1-cost card that gives one of your Digimon an extra 3,000 power. As a security card, you draw a card and add it to your hand. This just gives you that extra little bump you need to try and keep your Digimon alive. I mean, Vidramon here is really good, but it's only got 6,000 power, so giving it a bit of extra power, giving it a bit more of a bump, could be the difference between it surviving and it not surviving. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. A very different blue deck, a very evolution deck, shall we say. Not the kind of thing I've been showing you up to now, so I figured it was about time we went and changed it. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about this deck, whether you'd make any changes. I don't know, tell me whatever you want about this blue deck, I'm all ears. Go nuts in the comment section, be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, where we talk Digimon and frankly any other games that take our fancy. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wassy Plays.